I'm Jean. I'm a twin. I've been around for 87 years, almost 88. I would probably say at this point, 60 years of directing choirs has been one of my passions. And at first I did it because my mom, we were in a musical family. My mom was a choir director, she's an organist, she was a Sunday school teacher, she led the women. My dad sang solos a lot and everything, so we were at church half the time. So we grew up with that background, and then it turned out that I guess God gave me the choir. My twin sister was the organist, and my other sister was a soloist. So we all got to be used by God some way. Well, I love singing, and I loved all the people that I was with. And when I first started directing choir, I did it just because we were brought up in a home like that. But when we finally got to Rochelle, I had two parts to my life. I did everything my mom taught us to do when I was younger. And when I got to be we had two boys, adopted one and had a baby, and they were both in school. And I was a stay-at-home mom, and I started to feel so useless and so like, what is life all about? And there was a song at that time that says, what is life about? You know, I mean, and that kept going through my head. And I realized that I was missing something that was really important to me. And I went to a sewing class over in Mount Morris, and our teacher, we really liked her, and we got invited to a meeting over in Sterling, Illinois. And it was a meeting where it was Christian Women's Club, it was called, and the young man that spoke, he started talking about what his life was like before and what it was like when he really realized that God was part of his life and he loved him. And he said, it changed my whole life, and I had meaning to my life, and that changed my life. That day I gave myself to the Lord, and after that I directed the choir because he called me, not because my mother said we had to. It's Stonecrop Ministry out of Kansas City, and it was when I went to this meeting with this young man that gave his heart to the Lord. He told all about that one because he was speaking for them. And then I became involved with the Stonecrop Ministry, and it was what changed my life. So I stayed with them for 45 years as a regional rep and did a lot of studies with people and did a lot of having meetings together and everything. So that became really very much part of my life also. And I finally retired from that last year. One of the things I miss the most is the camaraderie, because we don't get together every week now, so I do miss that. I think people getting together for one thing, but just singing the praises to God, and we're all getting kind of horsey these days because we're all getting older. That's one of the reasons I felt like I needed to hang it up. But there was just a camaraderie with music and singing to the Lord. There was always that close camaraderie, and everybody loved each other. So I think that was the biggest thing, and I felt like God had called me to do it. Any choir I had, we became a family because we were together every week, and we sang every Sunday, and everybody in it liked to sing, and most of them could carry a tune. We had a few experiences that were interesting, but anyway, and I was very intense on having voices that blended together, harmonious. So that was my main thing, is to have voices that really blended, and we were pretty fortunate most of the time. Well, I think the music, of course, is very important to me, but also the friendships that we had. I mean, my choirs were always like we were a family, and so that bonded us together. And we weren't in a big church, but if you are, you need those kind of groups so that you feel together and you feel like you can be a family. So probably that was my biggest blessing. So I had 3 different families through my life. So I seem to keep really busy, and I play the piano a lot, and I go over and play at the assisted living place here in Rochelle once a month. And I always keep busy. There's always people that need help and need something, and so, you can always find something to do. So, and living in the townhouses, there's a death all the time, and all the women that live there, it's like when their husband died, and one just lost her husband, they didn't have any kids. We just all took her in, and we just immediately became buddies. And anytime we get together, she's with us. So it's helped her get through this. And I was there when Art died, and you just have friends around, and it's amazing. It's wonderful. Well, just because you've been through it yourself and you know what they're going through, so you understand that they need friendship, need love. So I've had a wonderful life. We went to a Christian college. Joan and I were always roommates, and we just always had a good time together. And then when we separated, we still got together often. I guess just continually to grow in your life to the right purpose, to the Lord, and be open to whatever He calls you to do. That's how my life's worked, and it gives me a lot of joy and happiness, and I don't take credit for anything because I know that He's called me to do these things, so I don't want credit like I just got for 60 years of choir.